Hi, everybody. I am Sam Humes. I am demand generation manager here at Vicasso. I've been here about 2 years, and we are on here to have a quick conversation around case page layout, which we'll get into. But first, I wanted to have Brian introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm the customer support manager at Vicasso. I've been here for a little over 3 years now. I've been in various support roles over those 3 years, so very focused on that side of the business.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Brian. I know you have a lot going on, so appreciate you. And also, I want to brag about you quickly because I know that you won't do it yourself. So, as Brian said, he is the customer support manager. He oversees both our support and our success teams here at Vicasso, which is great. But those teams boast a NPS score of 85, which is a huge accomplishment. For comparison, over 50 of on NPS is considered excellent. So our support team is pretty awesome. They do an incredible job. We also have over 500 five-star reviews on the Salesforce App Exchange from our users. And the majority of those reviews mention our support team and even call out specific team members from our support team. So we build customer service apps, but we also, walk the walk as well and have an incredible support team. So congratulations to you, Brian, on an awesome job.
Yeah, thank you for bragging for me. It's nice to see that our hard work is being reflected in those reviews.
Yeah, great. Okay, so let's set the stage a little bit for the conversation we're going to have today. We've been having a lot of conversations lately with some prospects and customers around the case page layout in the service console for support agents. Basically, what that means is agents go into the service console to work their cases, and it's what does their workspace look like essentially, and why does that matter? Brian, I was hoping today you could tell us a little bit about why case page layout is important for support agent workflow.
Yeah, definitely. The idea that a cluttered mind is a cluttered workspace, that idea definitely extends into Salesforce and the case page layout. So a few things that a nice case page layout can lead to are one's faster case resolution. So a well-organized layout can ensure that agents can quickly find the critical information they need, like the customer details, the case history, any articles that include resolution steps, and that's going to reduce time spent searching for data.
Which is super important because everybody knows how much of a pain in the butt it is to sit on a phone call or wait for an email back from a support team.
Yes, definitely infuriating. Anytime you hear, hold on while I pull that up, while they hear them furiously typing for 2 minutes. Nice to have that right in front of you.
Yeah.
Another big thing is improved data quality. A clutter-free design can help prevent data entry mistakes by ensuring that only the relevant fields are displayed. You don't want anyone just inputting anything into any field. So you may have certain rules to show only the fields that are relevant to that case.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then overall, just a better user experience. So a streamlined layout can minimize the cognitive overload for users, making it easier for them to navigate, update, and manage their cases without any unnecessary distractions.
I think that's a huge thing. I think it's sort of the same philosophy behind people that turn off their Slack notifications or their Zoom message notifications when they're trying to get through something that requires a lot of focus. I think it's so important to minimize that cognitive overload, like you were saying.
Yeah, especially for those more complex issues where their agent's already doing a lot of thinking and a lot of processing. So taking any kind of distractions out of their way is going to be a good thing.
I imagine this is also important for those scenarios where agents are out of office and maybe they're having somebody come in and fill in for them. It's an agent trying to get the scope of a case fairly quickly. And the other scenario I was thinking about as well was case escalations, where a manager might need to step in and they need to get an idea of what's happening with the case quickly. And if that layout is sort of a mess, it's going to take extra steps and extra clicks to figure out what's going on with the case. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. When one of us are going to be out of office, we make sure to set up whoever is going to be looking at that case next, set them up for success. So we're going to clearly lay out those next steps for them to take, make sure everything is updated, make sure any key updates are documented on that case. So that next person doesn't have to waste time figuring out missing or unclear details. They can just open up that case and know exactly what they need to do as if they were working the case in the first place.
Yeah, that I think it would be really helpful for the workflow of the entire team.
Yeah, then you mentioned escalations. The same applies to escalations. When that happens, a higher tier support agent or a manager needs to step in and they need immediate clarity on that issue. So this customer is already upset. They already feel like they're not getting the support they should have been getting. So we need to step in immediately and remediate that. So to make that customer happy.
That makes sense. So if you're, and this is the scenario that we've sort of run into, just seeing some reverse demos and looking through a lot of orgs. I know you mentioned too, you've seen hundreds of orgs over the years and how they're set up. Say you're a Salesforce admin and you're tasked by your head of customer support with setting up a case page layout for the customer support team. Do you have best practices or steps you would take if you're in that Salesforce admin role and you're tasked with this?
Yeah, for sure. For troubleshooting, we get login access all the time. So we see everything when it comes to page layouts, good and bad, mostly on the bad side. But some recommendations from the top would be that should be a collaborative process between the admin and the support manager. The biggest thing is there's often a disconnect between those two people. And with that disconnect, you can never really set up an efficient page layout for the support agents. Usually we see the admin just come in, set things up how they think it should be set up, and just put it in front of the support agents. Here you go, here's your page layout. And the agents may not know what's available to them and what can be shown to them. So they don't know what to ask for. And at the same time, the admin doesn't know what they need to do their jobs. So having that support manager involved in that is a big thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think collaboration is a really good first step. And then as far as like what types of questions would you ask the support agent who might not know what they need?
Yeah, I'd start at a baseline, start as simple as possible, asking the support agent what things they can't live without. What are the things they absolutely need to take the case to resolution? So, all of the key details they need, the access to maybe knowledge articles, the ability to pull other people into the case, things like that in their workflow that would make that easier. It's also probably a good idea to have maybe a team lead, maybe not a manager, but someone that really has their boots on the ground, someone who's doing the work every day, make sure that they have exactly what they need. So it's better to start with less than what they need and build up from there rather than putting too much on the screen and having to pull it back.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when I first started at Vicasso, one of the more powerful things I did was I sat down and shadowed one of our support agents. So would you also recommend that for a Salesforce admin to sort of sit with a support agent and see how they're working through a case today and then to spark some ideas of what they might need?
Yeah, shadowing is a great way. They can point out maybe some inefficiencies in the process. Maybe they are doing extra clicks to perform an action that they can do easily. Maybe they are navigating to extra pages. So definitely recommend a ride along session for the admin to get a better idea of how that's used.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So now that we have these best practices in mind, is there anything that you would say that you absolutely would not recommend doing as a Salesforce admin? Is there things that you consistently see when you're looking at these orgs that you're like, ooh, that's a big no-no in the support world?
Yeah, a lot of the time we see that people don't take advantage of tabs. Tabs are, really, really nice for organizing information, maybe in sections of data, maybe having things that don't need to be readily accessible on top of the page. Things like that can really impact the page load. So immediately reducing the time it takes to load the page can make your agents more efficient in that way. So tabs is a great way to kind of organize that. And then a lot of time we see people not taking advantage of the horizontal screen space and having things that are way farther down the page. So users have to scroll down and then the information at the top isn't visible anymore. So things like that can really make it more efficient for users to use.
Yeah, and I do feel like people always take the path of least resistance. So if even if it involves a scroll or a click, they might just go elsewhere or, or move on to something else or, and not hit those high priority cases like they should. And then do you have any sort of recommendations for if an admin is tasked not just with helping one support team with this, but multiple? I know a lot of organizations have, a support team that's handling those common cases and common issues, and then they have a different team for the more technical, complex cases. So if you're dealing with multiple support teams, are there any best practices you'd recommend for case page layout?
Yes, some organizations will opt to create multiple page layouts for all of those groups of users. So you may have, a tier one support versus a support manager's view, or you may have someone from sales looking into a case to get more information. They don't need the same information that the person working the case would need. So you could either make multiple page layouts for that, or one thing that you can use is conditional visibility to hide or show certain aspects of the page based on criteria. So that criteria can be case type, status of the case, can be user role. So that is a really powerful tool to allow you to only make one page layout, but have different experiences for different users.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting. I didn't even realize that was an option. And what did you call that?
Conditional visibility.
Conditional visibility. So Brian is going to show us from our end how our case page layout looks for our support team as leaders in the customer service space. This is how we manage things. So if you want to share your screen, Brian, and walk us through that, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. All right, so we have our case page here. Just at the top, basic information, case number, your subject, status, and priority, just so you know exactly what you're working on. And you have your details section where you have case owner, contact and account name, the type of case you're working on. Then we have some fields over here that guide the user to what their next step should be. So here, once the case comes in, we know we have to reach out for information. We also have this case flags component that is one of our apps here at Vicasso. This will help with responsiveness. So this is just a countdown based on the service level agreement I have with this customer.
And first impressions, this is just so clean before you even have to scroll down. You have everything you need right on the page. And it really does give you sort of that clean desk, uncluttered mind kind of vibe. So yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes when I log into orgs, I'm overwhelmed with the amount of information that I see. It can be hard, even from the troubleshooting perspective, to even figure out what's going on the case. So the cleaner the look, the easier it is to work either as an agent or as someone that's, troubleshooting the org.
Yeah, for sure. I love that you're selling sneakers because I know you are a huge sneakerhead. So it's very fitting. And then can you talk to us a little bit about two things? The first, this knowledge area, and then the second, maybe walk us through some of your tabbing and how you decided to kind of split that up.
Yeah, so this is the standard Salesforce knowledge component. So this allows us to quickly search for our knowledge base for the issue that we're handling. So here, this is someone that were charged twice for their shoes. They're probably going to need to know how to request a refund. So we have this article here that I would link them to just to tell them how to submit that and be on to the next case.
Oh, yeah, having the knowledge there is super important. And I think if you're an organization who has yet to look into knowledge center service, now is the time to do it for sure as we move more towards agent force and a world of AI. Your knowledge base and your case history is going to be really important. So I love that you guys have it right here so you have instant access to it. That's a great addition to the page.
Yeah, we're definitely huge proponents of knowledge-centered service. All of us are certified, so that's a big thing on our support team is looking through our knowledge, constantly updating it, and it makes it much easier to resolve issues that we've already seen.
For sure. And then I see this horizontal layout that you were talking about before. So maybe you could walk us through the tabs and how you decided to split information up there.
Yeah, I think tabs are underutilized when people build their page layouts. A lot of people tend to build down instead of across. So tabs allow you to segment your data and make it easier to access while still having everything in view rather than scrolling past it. So
Very
here,
cool.
if I click in, this is our timeline. So this is part of our email to case premium package. This gives you the chronology of your case, all of your case comments, key updates, and any files that were sent on the case. So this allows you to quickly communicate and catch up on the case history.
Now, if somebody didn't have email to case premium, is this where you would suggest that they house the case feed?
Yeah, we see a lot of customers using case feed if they don't have email case premium, or they may have the emails or the case comments related list. So I would definitely recommend having those behind a tab to be easily accessed.
And how about this related tab? What do we got on there?
So we've got some quick links up at the top. If you don't want to put the whole related list on the page and have a whole, list all the way down, you can just have a quick link where you can hover and access those records quickly. So I would definitely recommend doing that for ease. Then you can also have your standalone related lists for other objects that you feel like are important for the cases. So if you have a files related list that would live here, so this just allows you to house all of your related objects in one place rather than having them all over the page.
Yeah, very cool. From an agent's perspective, I feel like this is so easy to navigate. And then if you're a support manager, like we talked about coming in to get a scope of the case, there's 3 tabs. It's really simple, and you can basically instantly get up to date on what's going on here with this case.
Yeah, and this page layout, I made it simple more for the demonstration purposes, but I would suggest starting from a place that is very simple and building up from there. That would allow you to get exactly the information you need and nothing else, rather than having too much and having to pull back.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've seen a lot of that too. I know a few orgs that I've seen just in listening to gong calls and things like that, that it's a lot. Like there's a lot of different components on the page, a lot of repeating information. So I've seen one that has case details in 2 different areas on the page. So maybe looking out for that repetitiveness as well is a good thing to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, it's kind of the idea that when everything on the page is shouting at you, you don't know which one to go to. So if you have one thing that's urgent, your responsiveness, you need to make sure you're answering the customer. That should be at the top of mind versus something else going on the page that's distracting you from that.
Very cool. Anything else you want to shout out about our layout that you can think of?
Yeah, another thing that's underutilized, I'd say, is conditional visibility, the ability to hide or show different fields, different components on the page based on whatever criteria you specify. So that can be something like case type, that can be a user role, that can be profile. So there's a lot of flexibility with that. I wanted to illustrate that here, just a very simple use case we have. If, for example, this is a shipping case, I would want to display the address that I have on the contact record. That way I can confirm with the customer, is this the address? Is this still where you live so that we can send you, your replacement, or, we can send you other marketing info.
That's really cool. I like that it's hidden unless that other field changes because it's not taking up space on the page. It's not cluttering your workspace, but then it's there if you need it.
Exactly. We don't need to know your address if you were just asking a question. So hiding that in those cases is definitely best practice.
And can you just quickly show us if you were an admin who had a request to add something to the case page layout, just how quick and easy that is on the admin end?
Yeah, for sure. So if you just click the gear icon and go to edit page, that will bring you to the Lightning app builder. If you have dynamic forms enabled, you'll be able to edit your fields from here. And that is a quick enablement directly in here. But it's just as easy as looking for the field that you want to add and dragging it onto the page layout. So a lot of people think that there's a lot that goes into making these edits, but if the support team and the support managers can get it together with the admins and give them a punch list of things they need on the page, these are things that can be knocked out quickly.
And that again just comes back to that collaboration and good relationship between the admins and the support team because that is so quick and simple. And it looks like in general, editing this page is just a matter of dragging and dropping and deleting things that don't make sense. Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. This is awesome. I feel like it gave people an idea of what it might look like to see a nice, clean page layout. Obviously, ours is very simple, but you can make it as complex as you want or need. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Brian.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to share my knowledge and glad to be a part of it.